The real challenge with tying your shoes with one hand is being able to pull it tight. So the trick my mom taught me was to wrap around my shoe like this, and then you're able to pull them tight. And then you just do the same old normal loop that everyone else does, but you do it with one hand. I'm Porter Ellett. We're here in Loa, Utah on my family farm, and we're hanging out doing some farm stuff today. Today I live with one arm because at the age of 4 I was in a farming accident. I fell out of the back of a truck and I hit my head so hard that it tore the nerves out of my spine that controlled the movement and filling in my right arm. So by the time I was 16, I decided that it was time to amputate it. So my parents let me make that decision myself, and I had it removed, and I've just learned to adjust, and it's been a blessing in disguise in a lot of ways because I'm fine, but I'm just missing that right arm. So on the farm, I was asked to do everything with one arm still, and my parents, they allowed me to struggle through a lot of things. So the world would probably call it tough love, but I would call it real love. And there's a story about my mom. She was with a bunch of her friends. I think we were at a baseball game, and a bunch of the players climbed over a fence, and I went to climb the fence, and I couldn't do it. So I came back, and my mom said, if you want to go over the fence, you figure it out. You do it yourself. You have to do it yourself. So I went over there and I figured it out. And I've heard a lot of moms. There was one of the moms that was there. She said, when your mother said that, I thought, how rude is that? Or how mean is that? And then she said, as time went on, I saw what she was doing, and I saw that it was brilliant how she was parenting. Yeah, that's heavy right now, but yeah. So you just have to throw them like this. But yeah, these big ones now are they're like a ton, so you can't really lift them. But. So to raise money for my mission, at one point I had 44 calves that were on the bottles at the same time. Well, the day I left for the MTC, I thought my dad would let me sleep in and he'll take it easy on me this morning because it's kind of my last morning home. And he didn't. So I woke up at 6 a.m. and I went and I fed the calves. And while I was out feeding the calves, they popped some of the tops off the bottles. So I spilled a bunch of milk, and I had to go back and remake all the milk. And I remember that day I was so frustrated. I was in the corrals and I was throwing bottles and I was mad. And I remember once I got to the MTC, I thought, man, anything's better than being back on the farm feeding those 44 calves with the bottle. So there were tough days on the mission where I thought, man, I don't know if I'm gonna make it through this. And usually those thoughts only lasted about 5 seconds, because pretty shortly I'd think, I could be back feeding those calves. So it was nice for me to have lived through some struggles and challenges to realize, man, as a missionary, life's fun. Your only worry is to bring to pass the immortality and eternal life of man. Team sports are special to me because you work as a unit. And that's what really attracted me to football, kind of the ultimate team sport. It's very much everyone has to move as one. My passion for sports kind of comes from somewhere pretty deep. What I loved about sports is once you stepped on the court or on the field, it didn't matter, what you looked like, or even if you were missing an arm or anything. Once you got on the court, if you could beat the other team, that's all that mattered. So I loved the great equalizer of the field or the court. And that's just the same story over and over in my life. I couldn't tie my own shoes with one hand, so I had to sit down, and my mom bribed me a little bit with a pair of Jordans if I figured it out. And we sat down and we figured it out together, and you move on. So you face a struggle, you figure things out, you regroup, and then you move forward. So yeah, my challenge is very visible, and I'm grateful that other people can see it. So maybe they can have some hope when they face whatever challenges they're facing.